Our next speaker, I'm really excited to introduce, has over 20 years of experience. She has been with both Bentley and Autodesk. She is a recovering architect, and I've known her for a couple years now, and she's done an amazing job of presenting at various forums. So I'm very, very, very excited to introduce Angi Izzi from Autodesk. Angi.
Thank you.
All right.
It's great to be here, even though I come from a very warm place. So I'm Angi Izzi. I am, I was in the Graphisoft channel for about 15 years prior to coming to Autodesk. And my role here at Autodesk is I'm in charge of our industry strategy for architecture. So what I do is I get out and talk to customers like you to understand gaps in our technology and where we can provide better inroads and better things in our technology that help you be more efficient in your processes. And so today I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're doing in the future. We really want to be a more transparent company. We want to get out, talk to you, understand your problems, and make our software contribute and help efficiency in what you're doing. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the future of making things and how it affects particularly building design, but you're going to see Autodesk talking a lot more about this year in the future of making things as it pertains to each industry that you're in. So today will be a little bit more tailored for building design, but I think you'll get the gist and the idea of it. So the means of designing, making, and building things is drastically changing, and technology is actually a big factor in why that's changing. You're going to see a lot of trends. You're seeing them today. You see these digital watches that people are coming up with that allow you to understand where you are and more digital context. You'll see I have a wrench on the screen. People are actually on the job, they will actually print out a wrench because they may not have the size wrench needed for a project so that they don't have to go out and find it somewhere else. Being able to add digital context onto a project site is something that we're seeing more and more every day. We're also seeing a lot of trends where thermostats that understand themselves, that can be more efficient, and also all the way to prefabrication, where fabricated panels are created before going to the project site. These are very exciting innovations for us because our technology is going to help drive a lot of that in the future. So a lot of these disruptions, a lot of these things we're seeing, the trends, are also part of a bigger part of that, the trends we see in building. The trends that we see for production in a building, where both buildings are intellectually and physically connected, where you can imagine buildings on demand. You can imagine owners wanting you to be able to provide them access to adapting temperatures, to security and lighting, so that people understand, a building will understand when you walk in what temperature you need, what you're expecting, what your lighting you're expecting, without actually flipping on a switch. The owners are going to demand this. This is going to be a big part of our future. The other thing is products. Products making up these buildings are really going to have to be more intelligent. They're going to have to understand where they are in context to each other. We're already seeing sensors that are being put into buildings that understand more about what's happening in that building so that they can actually continue to provide efficiency and understanding of that. And this is very important for connecting the digital and physical worlds that we live in. Another big piece of this is decisions can no longer be made in silos. The connectivity that we're seeing out there is really about connecting these more insight, having more insight for these places, understanding more economical, environmental, and social impact of buildings. And we can do that by connecting this digital and physical world. And we're seeing a lot of this already by homes being connected, just to your cell phone and understanding what's going on at home by looking at your cell phone. These connected pieces are all driven by technology, and that's really important to us here. So we've been through a few eras in our technology. Early documentation was important. Back in the 80s, we saw a lot of people that really wanted to come off the drawing board and start using CAD. And CAD was a big piece of Autodesk. You know, that's where our beginning was. We're being able to do representation of a building using CAD documentation. The second area that we've gone through is really where we are right now, what we're coming out of, which is this BIM world that we're living in. Really more about optimization, doing simulation and understanding more about a building before it's built. And so this is where we're really coming out of, because tomorrow, where we really need to be is to be connected. The physical environments that we just talked about need a connection. All these buildings have to be connected. And so this is really era 3, and we're just now entering this. And we'll show you some things today that will show you how Autodesk is inventing themselves to actually be ahead of this era. This, I'm not sure it's going to be called Next Generation BIM. I kind of have a slide showing that. But we really want to make sure that we're there for you and that we're showing you transparency of where we're headed. So we're really excited about being able to be connected to this new environment. Some of the things in our industry that are preventing us from getting there quickly is some current challenges that we have. You probably are seeing some of these industry challenges today. You probably see that there's these silos of people working, architects and engineers, not really working together in the same room or in the same context, that they are not able to communicate very well together. You're also probably going to see, or probably seeing today, that a lot of things are thrown across the wall to the contractor to do. And we see that a lot of times that information coming back from the contractor is not connected together. We want to connect those. We want a better design to construction handoff. We want the architects and engineers to work better together with the contractor so that the building is built more efficiently with less waste. That's what BIM has been all about, but we want to connect that to the next stage, fabrication and therefore. So there are also some disruptors that we're seeing that are changing business and business processes. A lot of explosion of big data. There's a lot, projects are getting larger, models are getting larger. There's more information that we want to put into these models. And so there's a lot of big data, and that information really has to be able to be explored, exploited, and we have to federate that data. That's very important to us. The second thing is exactly what Kim was talking about with the explosion of ideas. We really want to understand more about, as we look into different ways that things can be built, we want to get different ideas. We want to use generative design to make sure that we're looking at the best possible solution. That's what Autodesk wants to do, is build better buildings, and by doing this, looking at the best possible solution. Decisions being made by doing more early simulation in conceptual design. Conceptual design is going to be a really important place for us to make those decisions so that we can spend less time making those decisions later, because we know that's very costly. The fourth thing is communication. Communication becomes important because we want you to have all the data that you can anywhere you are. On a job site, the explosion of mobile technology is really changing the way that we have to offer our technology and get it to the job site for you. So there's a lot of trends that are actually driving these changes in process. So these changes in processes are really around process and people, in the way that you have to change the way you do your business. The things that are driving that are things like BIM mandates, mandates from owners that want to know more about their building. They want more information about their building so they can carry it through the project. Things like more connected design, looking at generative design, looking at computational design in the ways that we can actually get more from a iterative design process. That's an important part of these trends that we're seeing. Simulation has become ubiquitous. Almost every project today has some sort of simulation on the project that enables you to find out more about the efficiency earlier in the design process. And collaborative project teams. As you've seen us work really hard this year on getting collaboration for Revit, and the things that we're doing around geographically dispersed teams is really one of those trends that's driving this process transformation. And prefabrication, we see more and more prefabrication every day, and our projects are getting a lot more fabrication oriented. So the evolution of how we work and how you work in using this technology is becoming more important as well. And so the evolution of this whole industry is really around moving how we work, moving how we work together. Architects no longer just design. They're moving their traditional work processes into being able to be detailers as well, and doing more around the prefabrication. I'm going to show you some examples of that in a moment. There are also more of these detailers and engineers they're not just doing shop drawings anymore. They're actually doing a lot more of the prefabrication pieces that go to the field. And we're seeing that as well. So I guess to sum this slide up is this build design and this integrated project delivery mechanism is really becoming more of designers no longer just design, engineers no longer just engineer, and contractors no longer just build. A lot of contractors are also bridging into the prefabrication and the engineering workflows. So I'm going to back up just for a second before this video comes up. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the video I'm going to show. I'm going to show you a video about how our technology is changing. A few years ago, we had some siloed pieces of software, and we'd have an architect using one version of Revit, and we may have an engineer using another piece of our software. We've worked very hard for the last few years to integrate all these pieces together so that you can actually use the same model and the same processes through the life cycle of the building. And so I'm going to show you how our technology has really changed and what you can do today. So as you can see, we're pretty excited about the integrations that we've made between our products and how we're connecting to this digital and physical world. And we have a lot more we're going to do. So next I'm going to show you just a few pioneer examples and what we're seeing with firms like yours. And there's probably many of your firms in here that are doing these pioneer examples. I want to hear about them. I'm going to be here until the rest of the day, and I really love connecting with each one of you and learn about what you're doing in your practices. I'm going to show you some pioneer examples that we're seeing in the industry. We're seeing architects that are doing some of the more prefabrication issues. For instance, Snøhetta, this is a San Francisco project, the Museum of Modern Art. This is 700 3D printed panels that were designed by the architect, and they were in a 3D process. They were created and applied to this building. The panels were actually created in a 3D process, and they're fiber plastic reinforced panels. It's a pretty cool for solving a new way of solving problems using 3D printing. This is Rutherford Shakeen. They are a standard structural engineering firm, and they're starting to change their processes to include more around steel and rebar detailing using some of our products that we recently acquired. This is pretty exciting because typically this would be done on site and by fabricators, not by a structural engineer. So they're changing the way they do business and their designs, and they're kind of changing the future of their business through using some of our technology. The last one is, this is an MEP engineer, and this is exciting because Southland is taking our technology one step further by using field layout. So they're using robotic pieces that are in the field that understand where everything goes, and they're laying out all their piping and their ducting using the robotic processes that they have in our field technology, in our A360 field technology. So what you've seen today with this connecting these digital and physical worlds, what can you do? How can you participate? How do you get in on this? Well, there's a couple of ways that you can do that. You're doing it today. You're here. You're building on your investment, your technology. You're doing more training. You're getting more understanding about the products you're using. That's the first way that you can get involved. The second way is you might want to do a business process assessment. You might want to understand more about your business, more about what you need to be successful, how you drive efficiency, how you get your customers more interested in this technology and this workflow for this connected design environment. The third thing is you might want to find a project that's a transformative project that you want to try something new on. You want to try a certain technology you may have seen today. Find a project, test it, have someone help you understand how that testing can go about, and use that technology to drive that adoption, that transformation of your business. The last thing is create a plan. You can create a BIM plan, or you can create a transformation plan of how your business is going to transform. We want to help you transform with us in the future, and we want to make sure that we're driving those efficient processes forward so that we can actually get to the digital and connect the digital and the physical world. Thank you so much for helping us create this future of making things. It's all about you. You've really been a huge part of this, and I appreciate getting the opportunity to come here and talk today. Thank you.
Thanks. First, I want to thank Kim and Angie for a great job of presenting today. Those were some awesome insights. Some of those were the first time they were presented, so you're seeing it for the first time before some others that may have seen these in the future. A couple things. I want to do a little housekeeping here. Make sure tomorrow we've got day 2. We've got some amazing speakers in the morning. Rick Kahn from Mortensen Construction will be here, as well as Eric Chappelle from Autodesk. We also have a panel discussion following their presentation, so it should be a really great experience for you all. I got one thing that I was asked to do, a selfie of myself here with all you guys in the audience. So let's see if you guys can stand up, show me your bags. Come on, stand up. I got to prove to people that I am on stage. I think I got it a little horizontal, might be even better. You ready? I'll post these later on our MU application. There we go. Okay, all right, wow, look at everybody here. So that concludes today's program. I just want to also mention to you guys that you enjoy the conference, enjoy the classes, make sure you network, make sure you post on Twitter, MU 2015, and have a great conference, and thanks for joining us today.